friend of mass slavery apology since the beginning, and we have known him for years, and he has been one of our great supporters. Brother NorthStar is a stage performer, a spiritual scientist, a peace pilgrim, and a modern-day sojourner truth. He's a graduate of UMass with a BA in African American Studies. He was a core pilgrim on the interfaith pilgrimage of the Middle Passage. Today, he is the founder of Children of the Sun for One People, One Earth Foundation in New York City. He has carried the OP, the One People, One Earth message through 58 countries and 6 continents. His sojourns for truth have taken him to the birthplace of prophets, sacred sites, and many World Heritage Parks all over the planet. An international arm of the New England Peace Pagoda in Leverett as well. His specialty is holding vigils for the liberation of humanity and the planet Earth. I think we're in for a real treat, Brother NorthStar.
It's important to know that what we've created here is a vortex. This is, we created our own arc. We created our own ark. Very beautiful. Beautiful. I tell you, I forgot your name.
Nicomo.
Nicomo. Nicomo?
Yes, Nicomo from Boston.
I'm honored. So we've got this ark here, upon which we've invited, people from other realms to come and partake and sit. Ancestors and other beings from other places. And so you just see this thing kind of lighting up, locking in and lighting up, because we need your light mind. And I invite you to go and get some paper, take notes, because some things that I'm going to say maybe you might find a little coarse or offensive, and you want to challenge me on that. Ask me questions and see where I'm coming from that. So I won't be expounding on everything, but it's a long presentation. You may want to take a note and write something down, a thought or something like that. And so now we get this arc moving. Grandmother, I hear you calling from the east. You are sacred, and you are looking at me. I pray to you, pray to you. You are sacred and you are looking at me. Grandfather, I hear you calling from the west. You are sacred, and you are looking at me. I pray to you, pray to you. You are sacred and you are looking. Children of the future, I hear you calling from the north. You are sacred, and you are looking at me. Pray to you, pray to you. You are sacred and you are looking. Ancestors, I hear you calling from the south. You are sacred, and you are looking at me. I pray to you, pray to you. You are sacred and you are looking. Repeat after me. I am because we are.
I am because we are.
We are because I am.
We are because I am.
I am we.
I am we.
We am I.
We am I.
I am because we are.
I I am because we are.
We are because I am.
We are because I am.
I am we.
I am we.
We am I.
We am I.
I am because we are.
I am because we are.
We are because I am.
We are because I am.
I am we.
I am we.
We am I.
We am I.
If you believe what you just said, when I say one people, you say one earth. One people.
One earth.
One people.
One earth.
One people.
Earth.
That was at the thermometer. I just wanted to check the level. We're going to do that again and see if that could get better. So you might have recognized that prayer from Earlene Robinson. She was a member of this community. She was on the Interfaith Pilgrimage in the Middle Passage. And that is the prayer that I did all over the world. It was just that simple. I would go into places and just do that and keep it moving. Go on to the next sacred site. And you just join me in that. All right? Lights, please, for the video.
The NorthStar, it's not a name, it's not a title. The NorthStar is a journey, it's a destination. It's the symbol of the star that my ancestors followed to leave out of degradation to find a life of dignity. That's an important movement in this country because that movement is the mother of all the other movements that have taken place in this country. The movement for the liberation of African people in the United States, born the civil rights movement, the human rights movement, the animal rights movement, the environmental rights movement, and all the movements that there is today, that movement. And so that star is still very prevalent. So it is that my given name, which I still have, is inconsequential. Because the people who know me by my given name, they don't understand what I do. But the people who know me by the work that I do, they know the NorthStar, that I'm following the NorthStar. So that's what's significant about that. I just named my journey the NorthStar. And so people call me Brother NorthStar.
The ancestors had a saying, the best way to talk the talk is to walk the walk. That's what I do. What did they say? They said, talk that talk. What's the best way? Walk that walk. But what did they say? Talk that talk. What's the best way?
Walk that walk.
What did they say?
Talk that talk.
What's the best way?
Walk that walk.
But they call me Brother NorthStar because I got stories to tell. I got stories like the water from an ancient well. I'll be giving you the lyrics, I'll be giving you the rhyme, so that you will know the facts and the history and the time it is. So when you face the final quiz, that's a blast from the past. So you better listen close, because if you snooze, you're going to lose the thing that means the most. I'm going to tell the human story the way it ought to be told, about the good, the young, the strong, and the bold, but I don't fake the funk like a smelly old skunk. I'm going to tell the human story like LeBron James done. What did they say? Talk that talk. What's the best way?
Walk that walk.
What did they say?
Talk that talk.
What's the best way?
Walk that walk.
You see, storytelling, that's the thing to do. It's an ancient art for a chosen few. It heals the mind and it cleanses the soul. I can kick it to the young, kick it to the old, kick it to the rich, kick it to the poor, kick it to the sick, and then kick it some more. To black people, white people, brown people, hue. Red people, yellow people, albinos too. From the crack of dawn to the cool midnight. Telling stories in the rip and I can rip them right. What did they say?
Talk that talk.
What's the best way?
Walk that walk.
What did they say?
Talk that talk.
What's the best way?
Walk that walk.
Well, my voice is clear and I'm here to be heard. So have no fear when I spread the word. The hardcore know that I am no joke. I step to the mic breathing fire and smoke. I'm a rapper's delight with plenty of thought. I mix in the mess, my 1,000-watt smile, because I talk the talk and I walk the walk. What did they say?
Talk that talk.
What's the best way?
Walk that walk.
What did they say?
Talk that talk.
What's the best way?
Walk that walk.
Well, I'm a talking drum from way, way back. My history's rich and my culture's black. I wear the moon as my hat, the stars my stage. The large part about the light years of age. Thunder's my shoes, lightning's my cane. The sun is my smile and a history of pain. I'm a story handed down through time and space to spread the word around to the human race. And when the human race relearns the truth, build a better world and protect our youth. What did they say?
Talk that talk.
What's the best way?
Walk that walk.
And what did they say?
Talk that talk.
What's the best way?
Walk that walk.
That's how you get a sojourner for truth. That's how you become a sojourner for truth. You gotta walk the walk, and then you can talk the talk. All right, so I'm gonna share with you something that I wrote. Tony Bond, you may remember this because I had to bounce it off you on the phone. Introduction, it's called Ode to the Black Man, the history lesson. It was written in the 90s when police shootings of black youth were rising to an all-time high. They were being portrayed by the media as public enemy number one. This piece speaks to all the stereotyping and racial profiling and all the degrading talk shows between the death tolls, the infestation of drugs plaguing the black community, and the new booming jail industry. Black men are still on the brink of extinction in the new millennium. The history lesson, Ode to the Black Man, the history lesson, also renders an historical look at the cause that created psychological problems in the black community today. It indicts the system of slavery and colonialism as the root of not only black on black violence, but worldwide violence throughout history and today. The story touches upon the eras of American history, African slave trade, the slave system, and the antebellum South, Jim Crow and the Jim Crow laws, and the economic slaveries of today. Nevertheless, Ode to the Black Man, the history lesson, the subject, the black man, can be used interchangeably with the black race. Since the fall of the black man has a great deal to do with the fall of the race, it is at the discretion of the person. Once upon a time, when I was a student at UMass, I walked in late on my American history class, where I was the only black in the group. And the teacher said, why don't we ask Brother NorthStar? He has traveled the world from near and far. Perhaps he can give us the scoop. Brother NorthStar, could you please explain, since the black people claim to be the parents of human civilization, if this is the truth, tell us about the gangs of inner city youth, and just why is the black man in his present situation? I said, well, I know some of you guys might be surprised at gang violence of today. Since you put me on the spot, I'll give it a shot, but you may not like what I have to say. But I'll relate my story on how I fell from glory and the dirty trick fate played on me. So let the class gather around. I'll break it down. I'll unravel my history. You see, gang violence began in the motherland, where the slaves stalked their prey. And on that dreadful day, I just want to say, I didn't migrate here the traditional way. They set a trap, and I was kidnapped and brought to the USA. Ow! Where crime begun. I was strapped in shackles to pick cotton and tobacco, cotton, sugarcane, and tobacco, as the good ship Jesus sailed its course, and the code was crime under the auction sign, where I was sold like a thoroughbred horse. Where crime begun under the western sun, where I was reduced from a man to a male, and Mother Africa left to toil in the blood-soaked soil while her children were up for sale. Where Indians got slaughtered for the land that was bartered, And the way our country was founded upon massacres, genocide, was no joke. The Constitution of our land declared me 3/5 a man. The very words these hypocrites spoke. Let's do the Negro a favor and make them work free labor and deprive them of their alienable rights. And let us do our part to take their interests at heart. Because you see, they ain't too bright. Black history will always show what most Americans don't even know. That to be somebody's property is a very cruel test. Pain beyond your wildest dreams don't do you no good to scream as the red-hot branding iron burn a name in your flesh. And don't even ask, this is a hell of a task when you gotta pick cotton and you gotta pick it fast. Through the thorn and the thickets and the pace is real wicked, through the rain and the hail and the sleet. And if you miss one beat in that dreadful heat, the whip will crack your back and you'll be sore for a week. But you still had to work while the overseer lurked to keep every slave in sight. No time to take a piss. You had to work like this, from can't see morning to can't see night. Because with the lash of the whip, my skin would rip and peel like a Concord grape. They put a knife to my crotch to stand and watch while my sister, wife, and daughter got raped. Now this was the hex and in full effect in a European Christian way. I saw my family sold off to the far gone winds. I was made to breed children that I never saw again. Slavery in America is a white man's sin that they deny to this very day. I did all the work, they made all the money. I laughed at jokes that wasn't even funny. I even played the banjo at the master's feast. I sang and danced to a toot jug pitch. I shuffled and scratched where I didn't itch, 'cause I knew that music soothes the savage beast. It was against the rules to even read or go to school, 'cause the life of a slave was no better than a dog or a mule. I'd be here today and sold off tomorrow. For me, the land of opportunity was a veil of sorrow. And if a slave tried to escape bondage and never looked back, they made another slave run with the dogs to pick up his track. As the dog was trained with the scent they would gain to attack those who dare flee, and how the master cried when his dogs had died, trying to stop a black man from being free. There were many indeed who thought the only way to be freed was to commit suicide and up and die. The numbers are too awful story, so sad and gory, it'll make a man with a glass eye cry. Before I be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord and be free. There were many indeed. Now America's wealth was built on this vice, stealing and selling human beings for a price, sanctioned by the Catholic Church without remorse. Not one prayer was said as 100 million lie dead on that transatlantic course. There were many offended when caste slavery ended to make way for the industrial age. They said, well, if slavery is such a flaw, then we'll soften the law. We'll let old Jim Crow hit the stage. Now, Jim Crow was the law, but with Confederate clout, giving an ice-cold slave system a century to thaw out. And what was the real showstopper is when an old black sharecropper who worked his fingers to the bone to barely keep his family fed, and at his old age, when he asked for a small wage, this is what the Peckerwood said. In this land you've been born, there ain't nothing you can own. So forget about 40 acres and a mule. That's a promise turned to ash. That's a check you'll never cash. And don't you bring your black behind around our schools. You better take what you can get and be glad to work in debt. Nigga, don't you know that's why the laws were wrote? Bow your head and hide your face. Learn to stay in a nigga's place. And hell no, we ain't gonna let you vote. Uppity nigga, get off my land before I call the Ku Klux Klan. Or you better pick up that plow and tow. Because in a pinch, you will get lynched. And you know our laws make it a cinch. Hanging a nigga's better than any minstrel show. You see, the Jim Crow laws were ornery, mean, and hateful, downright spiteful and ungrateful. After free labor gave America all that loot, after 300 years of giving out blood, sweat, and tears, the country just up and gave black folks the food. Before our protest could win to bring segregation to an end, Willie Lynch got promoted to create apartheid in Soweto. He left with honors and citations for shaping the old plantation into slums, projects, and ghettos. So I began pacing with rage in a poverty cage to get free with all my might. But the black man was booked to be pressure cooked with the lid locked down tight. And I began to fall apart because I was doomed from the start and put on a drugged up diet. I was fed low-grade meat with a chemical treat that would make any man start a riot. I remember one time when my grandma said, she said, "Sit down, boy. You ought to be glad that you ain't dead for being born black and of a threatening sex. They scorn you as a black pariah because you were born to be a black messiah and free the people of the world from the white man's hex. We said second-class citizens, we will be no more. And they left burning crosses at our door, gangs of whites, too sick to even know they're wrong. Each time we marched, they tried to break our bones, called us names, spit, and threw bottles and stones. But we still marched and sang the freedom songs. Like true descendants of Moses, we walked through police dogs and fire hoses, exposing America's crimes for the world to see. With the firebombing of churches and homes and the FBI tapping all our phones, we showed the world a new determination to be free. We were locked in jail and held without bail just to come home to a box full of hate mail and threatening phone calls through the wee hours of the night. She said, "Baby, an educated black man without a gun is considered public enemy number one. Just another ruined nigger who learned to read and write." Marcus Garvey said, "Rise up, you mighty people, and be what you will." Words like this make the master race ill. The Black Panther said, "Power to the people." MLK said, "And I have a dream." Malcolm X said, "By any means necessary." And the powers that be began to scheme. For these were powerful words that a black man said. Grandma said, "Baby, you make an obedient black pet when you're docile and weak, but let the crowds line up to hear you speak. Assassins for hire will come out and shoot you dead." They send all kind of assassinating vipers, arsonists, bomb specialists, terrorists, and snipers, just to uphold their lives and put the black man's truth to shame. Brilliant are the minds of those who conspire to protect the power of an evil empire and plan a well-staged hit with a fall guy to take the blame. Grandma says, "Son, they prefer your animal rage, not a political sage who speaks to our hurt and pain. To kill all the thinkers and feelers and leave the drinkers and dope dealers is enough to drive any people insane. Son, the Cold War's gone, the Iron Curtain done fell, but slavery's still alive and doing well in every institution you can find. It's the same old mess. It's the same old game. The uniforms change, but the game remains the same. Only now they wouldn't put the shackles on your mind." Well, now I was too busy laying and playing to hear anything that Grandma was saying, because I was lost to be found and in search. And long gone are the days of the family ways when we all said a prayer and went to church, where Mama made the bed, my daddy made the bread, with a job as a civil service clerk. And as the economy got leaner, the taxes got meaner. Now Mama got to get out and work. Now that Daddy's either somewhere dead or on drugs or doing jail bid, I'm just a welfare kid. And Mama's home pregnant with another child. My youth didn't last. I had to become a man real fast. And I raised myself buck wild. And it was the Western creed that said the strong must feed off any prey at hand. Hell, I was just branded a beast when I sat at the feast, and I wasn't even a man. I'm young and dumb and full of cum, and I'm known as the alpha male. I'll be chilling with my boys or playing the girl toys, doing the naughty or guzzling down 40s till I die or go to jail. First, you enslaved my fate, forced me to breed and mate, and family negate, created the religion of my own self-hate. Now you want to look at me on primetime news and say you can't relate. Please, I'm making cold cash and talking mad trash, doing the twirl to the funky beats. I'm taking it slow with my pants hanging low, mooning the world as I prowl the city streets. Well, I'm still alive, and the reason I survived, I'm here to tell you, son, it just ain't no fun being a man if your skin is black. Because in the cards of race, if you ever show your face, it'll just get shuffled to the bottom of the stack. They stole all my inventions without ever making mention to the world for contributions that I gave. Black talent by the millions made the American economy billion. While all I took was poverty to my grave, it was Willie Lynch who said in the days of old, destroy their mind and steal their souls, for the body's all we ever need employed. My spirit's sore, and it's so sad. I fought in every war this country's ever had for a freedom that I've ever yet to enjoy. Being a black man's a jobless life full of stress and strife, where you're constantly watching your back. From the wars we were killed, to the jails that they built, to the AIDS and the guns and the crack. Yes, their penchant for crime has withstood the test of time. They're even making a profit off my pain. Like Dracula the vampire stud, they suck the living blood out of every artery and vein. In this day and age, war is still being waged, and it's the colored people of the world that they are trying to kill. They'll fight with killer disease, food chemically teased, and if one don't get you, the other one will. I'm gonna fast forward this. A couple of pages. To Uncle Sam, the soldier of fortune, who sets the world on fire as a gangster for hire in the business of global extortion. It's the ruling class scheme to try and redeem, because they know they're the wretched of the earth. Yet there's all this silence about the white man's violence to which no race can hold a candle. We're all going to hell in a bucket, and no matter how they try to shuck it, we know who's holding the handle. The protectors of oil who sucks up the spoils while telling us we're all under threat. War's a nightmare, and if you think they care, talk to the Vietnams. Talk to the veterans who fought Vietnam, the Gulf, Afghanistan, Iran, and Iraq. Between the corporate spies, the government lies, and tuition costs on the uprise, and the environment going straight to hell, with jobs and opportunity on retreat, and guns and drugs out on the street, you don't think they're setting me up to fail? With criminal payoffs and massive job layoffs, everybody's out to get paid. With government overtaxing and corporate downsizing, only those at the top got it made. Now that the middle class ship is about to sink, due to poor management, the economy stinks. And they are looking for a scapegoat to blame. Moving on. All the markets have gone cold. Small businesses have to fold. The funds for arts and education at an all-time low. The economy can't fit us all. It's a shoe size too damn small. And the tension between the races about to blow. As abortion becomes the norm and public welfare on reform, blacks have always carried the burdens of all their fears. But black folks will make do, because being broke ain't nothing new, because black people been broke for 500 years. We're all enslaved by the ruling class, who holds up high the champagne glass and propose a toast to the future of all our sweat. Here's to the overworked and the underpaid. As long as they work, we've got it made, because we'll never, ever let them get out of debt. It's truly sad to see how the human mind can go completely mad, possessed by the raw materials of the earth, and use legal forces to hoard all the natural resources, which are humanity's rights by birth. There's no other way to put it, we just all gotta foot it, because our wannabe pharaohs that lost their souls. To destroy yourself for material wealth with nuclear explosion and ozone erosion is just insane and totally out of control. I guess the white man knows he's a dying breed, being phased out by the black man's seed that multiplies in all the ghettos and the slums. And when a dragon knows he have to take a fall, he'll take his tail and kill us all and blow the whole wide world all of kingdom come. Meanwhile, their children are breaking ground. Their family structure is breaking down because they're just as angry and rebellious as can be. It seems like the white man's every curse has always come back to haunt him worse. To see his kids with AIDS and guns and crack, just like me. It ain't no thing but a chicken wing, but you better watch out for that boomerang as the sails of winds of time and history. Conclusion. My experience with this word called racism, I know that my grandmother's father was a doctor, you know, like post-Civil War. So that's how far back education goes in our family. And he was a doctor. He must have been a very good doctor because he got killed in Vicksburg, Mississippi. You know, I guess when you first get your first warning about, cut the practice. You don't do this because, they don't want competitors, And so just bookmark that word racism, just bookmark that word because it means to compete. It's racist competing. And so to the extent where if someone's job is threatened, burning your home or taking a life is of no conscience. They do things like that. So that great grandfather was murdered because he was trying to practice the American way in the land of opportunity after people were freed. And then my father's father was a tailor, and he had his own business. And some say, he had a car, and again, that type of competitiveness, that type of thing. You ain't supposed to have no car. You ain't supposed to even have no job. You're not supposed to be making money. I'm over here living like this, and you living like that. He got killed.